My name is Thomas Jones, and I was born in 1930 in St. Louis, Missouri. My family were Methodist parents, very religious, and my young life was very happy, having a solid family. I had two brothers and three sisters. But a tragedy struck early in my life when my mother passed when I was 7 years old. And that really turned my life around. I had a dismal outlook on life and everything. And that's why my life really started going in a bad direction. And shortly after that point, I learned about racism. And I developed an attitude. At the same time, Joe Louis was a top boxer in the country. And that stood out. People were jumping up, the Joe Louis story. And going through those phases, you sort of gradually developed a racist attitude, which I kept for many, many years. And as I grew older, that developed more and more, where I felt estranged from whites, and we didn't really associate with it. But another twist in my life came when my grandmother died when I was about 16 years of age. And she had helped tremendously and helped to raise us after our mother died. And my father slipped off and married again. And he married an albino lady. And I was coming home from high school one day, and my sister, who was 1 year old, when my mother died, she was screaming when I went in the house, came up to the house, and I came up the back steps and I heard her screaming, get her out of here! Get her out of here! She hated my stepmother, and we didn't want to have anyone else come in between our father and herself. And that's when my life started going awry. I ran off instead of staying at home with our family and working this out. I had 3 sisters and 2 brothers. And the younger two, she's 4 years old, younger, and the baby was 6 years younger. And the baby was 6 years younger.
Right.
She was screaming,
Right.
getting my mother out of here. My older brother, that was the sort of pattern I developed. He was sort of how would you say, he was sort of not into gangs, as they say now, but on the borderline of gangs and shooting pool, good fighter, good boxer, good sports, and I was inadvertently trying to follow in his path. My father always chided me. He chided my brother and saying that you're setting a bad pattern for Thomas, by not doing things. He was into truancy, running away and all that, and I sort of followed that pattern until and I got kicked out of the Navy for one thing. Not really bad, because I never was in serious trouble. And when I came home, I was just disgusted, and got involved in drugs and, how would you say, a criminal lifestyle of a sort. But I wasn't dealing drugs. But I knew all the drug dealers. And I was a good, what you call, hustler. I could shoot pool, I could box, I could do things. I was really sharp. And it evolved into where this agent got shot, and they made a pickup, and they was trying to clean up the city, and they told me if I didn't tell on who was selling the drug, they was gonna load me up. So they made an example out of it. I was the first one tried. And my friend begged me, said, don't fight him, Thomas. You can't win. I said, but I'm not going to plead guilty to something I didn't do.
Wow.
So they put me through a mock trial. They gave me 70 years running consecutive.
How many?
70. They ran it consecutive, 4 15, 3 3s, and a 1. Because I went crazy in the courtroom. I knocked down 2 marshals. And when they tried to take me back to jail, I tried to run away with my hands cuffed behind my back. When one of the officers opened the door, I kicked the door and kicked him back. And I ran out and with my handcuffs, and the officer I kicked pulled his gun and had it at my head. Was going to kill me, and the other police, because they knew I didn't do this. They knew something was wrong. But they didn't kill me. And they commuted my sentence from 70 years to 15, where I served 97 years in Leavenworth Prison and 2 years in Fort Worth, Texas, a federal drug treatment hospital. And I got involved with a special project down there with a psychiatrist that put me in a special project and trained me. And the program went so well, he asked me when I left prison to continue my working with addicts and people like that when I got out. So I went back to St. Louis, and I helped started one of the first drug programs in Missouri called NASCO, Narcotic Service Center.
That's great.
And I worked with that for a year. And then I met my second wife, and we came out to California. And I worked for years out here with Reality House Drug Program. And my wife got cancer, and she had to go back to Missouri. And I started a program in Kansas City, Missouri. We ran it for about 6 or 7 years until all this mishap. The bad thing that happened, I got involved with this policeman's wife. I don't know how I did it, but we were doing shows, and then she had an infatuation. And I thought I was sterile, but I had a adulterous relationship, and she got pregnant, and she wouldn't have an abortion. And I had to divorce my second wife and marry her.
Oh, wow.
And we've got a 30-year-old son now. And but it turned tragic. It really turned tragic, and I haven't seen her in 26 years or something like that. And my son, he doesn't contact me. He's mixed for white and black. I came out here and I'm working as a foreign corporation with my work. I use my home as my office. And people some way contact me for emergency things like that. JB, incidentally, I met him years and years ago. Yeah. And he was working with a program called the Haight-Ashbury Switchboard, which a program we had helped coordinate in the 60s. And by him being with that program, and I came in, I saw how it was being run, and I got sort of peeved because it wasn't doing the things that it should. So Jeff, he broke away from a group that he had been with up on Haight, and he worked with the Haight-Ashbury Emergency Switchboard for a number of years.
Yeah, this is my good friend, mentor, father figure, comrade, brother Tom Jones. Interestingly, I met him, like he said, through the switchboard. We were doing very similar work because he worked with people in the drug addiction area, and so did the switchboard. Even though we had somewhat of a different attitude at the switchboard, we always felt that people should be allowed to do whatever drugs they wanted to if they were adults. And we were more concerned with them maintaining their health. What they're calling now is a harm reduction model. It's like, let people do their things. If they're adults, just see to it that they drink plenty of water, get the proper nutrition and medical care. And that's how me and Tom met. And you know, at the time, we both didn't know that we were both in the entertainment business. He was a member of Local 6. He's always been pretty much a member of Local 6. It's a musicians union, international. And so I'm a musician also. And we just clicked, you know. And we're also, Mr. Jones introduced me to my spirituality, which is a really big deal. I always grew up as a Christian, African Methodist Episcopal Church. That's one of the oldest black churches. But I always felt something wrong with Christianity. Because I would see black folks getting hanged on crosses. And I don't think no black in America doesn't have some knowledge of the Ku Klux Klan. Because they're so notorious. And you hear about the hooded white sheets over them, and they hide and they burn crosses on your lawn. So something always bothered me about Christianity. I said, well, this Christianity, all the churches I go to are black. And if I step into a white church, people look at me like I'm crazy, like they don't want me there. So something's wrong. And I saw this book over Tom's house. It named all the religions in the world. And he never spoke about it. And I never asked him about it. But I read this book, and it just was so beautiful. The language in it was the most beautiful language I've ever heard. And I never asked him. Then one day I was walking by this building on Valencia Street, and it was the Baha'i Center. Baha'i is a world religion. And it was like God just pulled me in there.
Wow.
Literally, I was walking by on my way to get crack. Which was right down the street at the Valencia housing projects. In fact, I had it in my pocket on my way back. And usually I don't stop for nothing when I'm on my way to do my drug. And something pulled me in the center.
Wow.
A man came, a grown man, kind of looked like Tom, kissed me in the middle of my forehead, just grabbed me like I was a son. And it was like, oh, you've arrived. Oh, we're so happy. These people circled around me and started crying.
Wow.
And I was like, this is deep. I
You're
like
giving me chills,
this.
yeah.
Right. It gave me chill. And so I signed up. I was like, wow, this is beautiful. This is me. I mean, I feel good. I feel these. None of them were black, by the way. That really made me feel good. They were all different colors, not one black person. White, brown, yellow, red. So I was like, okay. They was like, do you want God's new message?
Wow.
I'm like, yeah. And when they signed me up and told me about this World Faith, they also had a copy of the same book that he had in his house. And when I got back to him, I said, oh man, I just became a Baha'i. You know, and I read that book over your house, and you never told me about it. And then he explained to me about the faith, and she said, man, we're religion. We don't proselytize. We don't go around telling people to join our religion. We don't go around sharing it and talking with people about, that's not our name. And he explained to me about the faith, and I was just like, and then I learned later.
What was the name of the book?
Baha'i is called, the book is called the Baha'i Faith.
Yep.
And it gives you a rundown from deeper aspects of how it all came about.
How do you spell that?
B-A-H-A.
And what culture is
it came out of Islam.
Islam.
It's in the Bible. It says the beginning to the end. And that's one of the points that they make. From Adam to Muhammad. Muhammad means the seal of the prophet. And Baha'u'llah means the glory of God, which one of the attributes that Jesus was supposed to return under. What they believe that all prophets their prophets are one. Religion is one. God is one. Religion is one. And mankind is one. And they're trying to talk about world peace. They're based in Iran. It started in 1844, I think. But that's the focal point about the religion, is that it's all about unity.